Talk to me for a minute. You're also employed by Traffic USA. And Traffic USA is now owns a portion of a number of teams in the. They own Miami's franchise. Recently, they owned a portion of Atlanta, and now it sounds like Carolina. You may be involved with them as well. There are some current concerns from people about Traffic out of Brazil owning, of course, Traffic USA, and them owning a lot of player contracts. Tell people, if you would, how that all plays out. How, like today, we talked briefly about it. How, like, Minnesota's budget is laid out, and Mr. Buchholz will be in charge of the player budget. How does that? Is there conflicts in any of that, and who owns those contracts from each of the team? How does that work?
Well, in our league, all player contracts will be directly team, not league based. Traffic, we directly as a company don't own players. We own teams that own players, or that have players signed to contracts. To use more of a U.S. industry term, we don't own, but we have player contracts. We have teams in addition to the United States. We have a team in Portugal, Estoril, and we have our team in Brazil. So sure, we have quite a pool of players, and a lot of whom we've sold to Europe already. Pretty significant numbers in sales from Brazil to Europe in the last couple of years. So we started in the team business because we saw an opportunity, believe it or not, even though we're in Brazil and in Europe now, to develop players in the United States. So that's led us now to having a team in Portugal and a team in an academy in Brazil. I laugh at times because people say, well, what is this? Traffic is, I think there's an article one time that accused us of human trafficking, piggybacking on our name. And we're developing players. We're spending money on the development of players. If there's a chance to make money on the back end, great. If there's not, we're still doing a huge service for the development of the game in this country. It really is, I don't want to sound arrogant, but it is altruistic. And I've used the word recently, philanthropical. Almost anyone investing in soccer in this country today is a philanthropist. So if we make money down the road, great. At the end of the day, though, we're doing it by the books. We own teams. We sign players to contracts. And if what's best for the players to move them on, either within our league, MLS, another country, we will try to do what's right for the player. That's what we do.
Okay. In November, you already mentioned this, you were provisionally sanctioned as the second division league in the United States. The final sanctioning or approval of that is supposed to happen in February, is that correct?
Yes.
How does that work? What's going to happen? And is this new development with Carolina, does that affect that?
Well, look, I mean, again, the process for sanctioning has taken, in my opinion, almost 3 years too long, but at least a year and a half too long. But again, USL did what they have done, and at certain times well at second division, and dug in their feet. And it was an unnecessary battle in a lot of respects, but it was what it was. Today, we are where we are. It took a little longer than we would have liked, and so the ultimate sanctioning for second division opportunity came at the MLS Cup in November. That was at a USSF board meeting, but the full plenary board of the USSF meets at their USSF AGM every February, which is here in Vegas. I believe the second week in February. And so they couldn't make a complete decision in Toronto. That's why they give it the provisional stamp. And that's given them an opportunity also to do some further evaluation between now and the AGM. Obviously the Carolina situation's popped up. I'm used to the unexpected now already, and so when you're trying to build something with a stable foundation from something that was unstable, you got to deal with those moving pieces, and we're dealing with Carolina. Carolina will be fine. We believe that Carolina is a model team for the NASL. Great facility, great management locally, and some additional management coming aboard. And to me, we'll have Carolina where it needs to be. And I understand the questions about multiple team ownership, but at the end of the day, no one can question that we're doing what's right for soccer in North America. And based on that premise, no one should have an issue with what we're doing in Carolina. And we really believe that we are laying the foundation for a strong second division. And there are already prospective investors looking at Minnesota, Carolina, and Atlanta. We just got to be smart. And like in all business, you can't be desperate. Thank God we've got a company like Traffic which believes in soccer in general and soccer in this country and in North America, that was willing to put resources behind it so that we can actually find methodically the right ownership in each of these markets rather than rushing to the decisions.
Well, which brings up a good question. I mean, how long would the league be willing to fund, like Minnesota, for instance? Are we looking at 1 year, 2 years? Is there a timetable? What are you trying to achieve? I mean, when do you hope to get that new owner in for Minnesota, for instance?
Well, look, again, I'm pretty already optimistic based on some of the things I've heard in the marketplace. But again, it has to come when it's right. And we're not looking to make money off these teams. We're looking to get the right investors in there. And if that's this year, God bless. And if it's next year, that's life. But we've already seen several interested investors, even out of market, in these teams. And I say it again, there's nothing more than compliments that I can give, and it may be self-serving because I work for Traffic. But I didn't work for Traffic my whole life, and I can tell you it's a company that delivers on its word all the time. And I think we all have to give kudos and credit to Traffic for stepping up and making second division, giving second division the chance it has right now to really be successful.
I'm going to try to nail you down a little more here, but you're not willing to say how long you'd support Minnesota until you find a new owner.
Well, I don't think it's even a relevant question because Minnesota has been in existence 21 years. This is going to be the 22nd year. There's always been someone that stepped up. And we know we want Minnesota in the NASL, so we will find solutions.
Okay.
And the idea is to give it stability and continuity, because that's the only way to make it successful.